Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. According to a post by Block One, company representatives attended the government building of the SEC, is now written there, to discuss the future of voice. Per the announcement, they said, and I do quote, "In December of 2019, we sat down with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington, D.C. to discuss our vision and plans for voice, what it is, what we're trying to achieve, and how the tokens will work. The company states that it has no rights to publish all the related information. However, they will take all necessary steps towards regulators, presumably after having to pay $24 million to the SEC for unregistered security offerings, which is, I'm not going to even get into it. As the company was seeking to become the disruptor of social media, it has set several tasks and challenges for the community to complete. The voice working on the EOS blockchain should have become the innovative. This article is written absolutely terribly. When in June 2019, Block One publicized their plans, people have started talking about the company as the game changer. The decentralized social network will not censor users to bound to facilitate blockchain's obvious benefits. All the deals and exchanges on the platform are public thanks to blockchain." I'm going to try and get into that in a couple of seconds as well, because if you read a lot lower, it gets into that and it's a little odd. Deals and exchanges are public. Social network avoids shameful Facebook practices of spying on people. This adds to integrity and transparency, making the networks people's servants. Whoever wrote this article. The project developers said they'll put lots of effort to eliminate bots and maintain a clean atmosphere. The bot accounts will be shot. Who the hell wrote this article? And the network will self-clear itself from the people breaking basic ethics or posting fake news. Which also, okay, so I can't. I have to talk about it now. Because even just this sentence around here, what seems to be happening is, and it says it around here as well. We heard from before about 2 or 3 weeks ago that the beta version of Voice, the app, is supposed to be launching on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, 2020. That is officially 10 days away from now. I'm reading a lot of, and they're not even conflicting things. And once again, I do not know everything. I get the news as I get it. I go over it, I spread it to the world, and then we discuss it together. What I keep seeing over and over is that this is meant to be a decentralized social media platform, i.e., no one controls anything, no one has direct power over certain aspects of the entire thing. However, I keep seeing things that if you don't do what you're supposed to be doing on the platform, basic ethics, posting fake news, what have you, that you can be removed from the network, which is kind of weird because you would then need the consensus of, I would assume, a large amount of the community to be able to do so, but it seems that you would only need the consensus of the people from Voice to be able to say, we don't like what you're doing, and they would take you off the platform. Once again, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but this is what I keep seeing around. Twitter, beta, Valentine's Day, 14th technical beta, where we can test and iterate. In the future, publishing to public chains will diversify moderation and strengthen censorship resistance. We let CoinDesk know their article was misleading, but they refused to edit. Oh yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, around that time, when we went over one of the articles from CoinDesk, was apparently, I forgot what it even said. I go over so many things, honestly. But I think the very next day, people were telling me that Brendan Bloomer had said that what CoinDesk had said that I had reported was incorrect. And it was like, okay. Strangely, in the blog post, Voice names the regulators as the key stakeholders. So here's where it gets really weird about the entire launch of Voice. It says, put simply, we're committed to consulting with key stakeholders, in this case, regulators, from the start, openly and transparently addressing any questions they might have so that we may seek solutions together. The regulators are indeed important in setting up illegal business, but how is it that the regulators are the project's key stakeholders? However, this definition may have several meanings. Interestingly enough, while many other projects claim to raise funds for a similar idea, never deliver the code, the Voice team seems to deploy, almost at Thanksgiving, on Valentine's Day. The Voice will be using unique value propositions to attract new users. And this consists of 3 key factors. And here's where it gets sticky for me. User verification via KYC, that's Know Your Customer, which is a tool to cut off bots and botnets as well as shill accounts. Then is transparency, that delivers clarity via blockchain. The last one is special purpose tokens, which is a tool of alignment between the platform and the users, as well as the tool for someone to know to enact a type of business if the fortune sends rays of luck. Whoever wrote this article, you're a legend, because half of it doesn't make sense. Voice says Facebook had to close 5.4 billion fake accounts during its work. This is a phenomenal number compared to the 7 billion real people living on the planet. Half of them still have no access to the internet. The voice blockchain, here we go. The voice blockchain will create timestamps every time a user makes something on the platform. Once you comment, share, sing up, post, follow, and more, the blockchain receives somewhat similar to the microtransaction. However, when signing up, you should understand what you are signing up for. This is not the type of social media network for people who like extraordinary stuff. What? Teenagers might also consider not posting personal information on the network, including the thoughts about conquering the world. Oh, this article is killing me. The entire point being, okay, I see who wrote it now. The entire point of the article being, I keep seeing information over and over that this is meant to be a private platform of sorts where you can do not what you want when you want, but it's like a more, the word isn't adult Twitter. It's like more professional, more like you know who's on it, you know what's on it, you know that everyone is verified. But then we also get to the same exact situation. I'm gonna say this once again because I've never signed up for any social media platform. Not that I use every single one of them. I've never signed up for a social media platform where I've had to give them my ID or show them who I am to be able to post. It's also the entire thing about transparency. I get that about blockchain, cool, wonderful, whatever. But it says it's somewhere around here. I don't remember there's far too much to actually, far too many words. You'll be able to see what other people have posted and pretty much everything else that they've done on Voice, which is a little weird because if you get to the point where you want to do something that's more private or share something with someone else, that's also available to everyone. We'll see how this ends up going. I guess the majorist, it's not a word, news is that apparently Voice has gotten the okay from the SEC, which are apparently big stakeholders in the Voice, which is also kind of weird. Not a tinfoil hat moment. It's more of the SEC tends to historically not be very friendly to things within the cryptocurrency space unless the SEC is also let in on the transparency. So I assume a month or two after this has been betaed and slightly released, if we start getting information that the SEC also has access to nodes or this information as well as with many other things, especially if you're a bank, a cryptocurrency exchange, and you do the KYC, the Know Your Customer AML, which is also going to become a thing as well, anti-money laundering on this platform, because I assume they're going to have digital tokens the same as every other blockchain platform. That information is stored and kept and secured and yada, yada, yada. But we know that in the past, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, every other cryptocurrency exchange platform has had to relinquish or give customer information to government authorities when they so wished. So one would only assume if the SEC has given this their thumb up, it's probably because in some sort of way they'll be able to say, well, we need access to these things or give us a complete blanket sweep of everything that you have for the sake of combating whatever thing they can think of at that week. It's very odd. I'm pretty sure that I signed up for the beta. I will tell you honestly, I will try to use the app. If I am told at all that I have to scan my face or I have to give some type of an ID or anything else like that, I will never use the platform again. Here's the actual article right here from Voice. It says, Voice, a regulatory recap. Right. Let's move on. Next up, the United States Marshal Services is set to auction around 4,040 Bitcoin, worth more than $37 million on the 18th of February. Announced on Monday, these Bitcoin were confiscated by multiple law enforcements, which were then transferred to the Marshal Services for safekeeping and further action. The auction will take place during a 6-hour period on the 18th of February. Bids will be accepted by email from pre-registered bidders only, the press release stated. Interested bidders need to register themselves with Marshal Services and have to deposit $200,000 to participate in the auction. The bids of the participants are not accepted. The deposit will be refunded at the end of the auction, logically. As detailed in the announcement, the auction process will be separated into 4 series with 2,500, 1,500, and 40.54 Bitcoin, respectively. So this has happened many other times before. I feel like this caught a lot of people off by surprise. I don't know the exact term. This has been happening since around 2012, 2013. There are a number of government agencies around the world who are in possession of Bitcoin. Why do they possess Bitcoin? Because at some point they saw someone doing something that they could have said was illegal, and they confiscated that person's Bitcoin. And what's even more interesting is in a couple of cases, they were confiscating Bitcoin and simply not letting the person go, but kind of like a huge slap on the wrist, like a "don't do it again." But these are our Bitcoin kind of thing. It wasn't Novogratz. It might have been Novogratz. It's either Mike Novogratz or that other guy whose name I can't remember right now. The reason why they have so many Bitcoin is because they actually participated in a lot of these auctions. Like, I think even before, like, it wasn't just simply several thousand. It was like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin that were auctioned off a long time ago, because Bitcoin was worth a lot less and it was a lot easier to mine. And therefore, this is how these people really got into the space, if you kind of want to say that. Because imagine getting something for 200, it goes up to 20,000. You're in it for life. You are going to spread the gospel of that thing, as Novogratz has done. Anyway, the entire point being, there are many governments around the world. For those of you not looking at the screen right now, this is an article from 2018. It says, Finnish government to hold public auctions for confiscated crypto. And a lot of the times, nearly all the time, only times, it's just rich people who are also buying these things. Kind of two things, kind of fascinating, because the people who are, once again, who are already rich on the planet are just going to get richer should the prices of cryptocurrencies go up. But on the other hand, it's also like a really weird, imagine a situation where Bitcoin does become super money. Everything is Bitcoin, super high price. Tired of saying the numbers. What would you as a government do, realizing that you had sold off tens of thousands of them? You'd be a little upset. But anyway, yeah, this auction is going to happen. I think we sometimes we get the name of the people who purchased it, and it'll probably be someone who we've had in the news before. Let's continue on. In the latest edition of News That's Everywhere News, but also Why Is This News? In a recent tweet, Ethereum network co-founder Vitalik Buterin said that Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, are not the same. Newsflash. He said Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin. He said in a tweet responding to Brad Mills' accusation of Buterin as a Bitcoin Cash promoter. Several tweets exist that might suggest Buterin is not 100% against Bitcoin Cash. Bcash, although he clearly made the distinction that BCH is not BTC even back in 2017. Without going through all of this, because it's just completely nonsensical, I think people in the cryptocurrency space are very bored. I think people are looking to make trouble. I think people are trying their best to entertain themselves while we wait for the market to skyrocket, go back up, whatever words you kind of want to use. The entire point being is that someone said that they found something that claimed that Vitalik Buterin actually believed that Bcash was actually the real Bitcoin. He had to come out saying, no, I know that they're separate things, as I am Vitalik Buterin, and one of them is BTC and one of them is BCH. And the people started finding other things talking about that he didn't know what he was talking about, that he's definitely so-and-so, that he's a secretive supporter. And it's like, this is why whenever we have news that's everywhere news, it's always slightly ridiculous, because for some reason, someone says something on the internet, it gets completely blown out of proportion, and then ends up just about on every single cryptocurrency website place. Anyway, the news is Vitalik Buterin does not believe that Bcash is Bitcoin. and vice versa. He says that he's not opposed to Bcash. He's not going to use it, but he says he does understand that they are different things. Because I disagree. Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin is at this point unrealistic, but the name Bitcoin Cash by itself is totally fine. Wow. Let's move on. And what I think is also, we live in interesting times. The Singapore-based crypto exchange ZebPay announced to relaunch its services to Indian customers after it closed down in 2018. Because of regulation, ZebPay closed down its services in India in late 2018 after the RBI announced to stop providing banking facilities to crypto exchanges. Even though the regulations have not changed, ZebPay has announced to make a comeback into the Indian market. After exiting the Indian market, the exchange expanded its services to the Australian market. Before shutting down its business in India, ZebPay was among the top crypto exchanges in the country. The exchange announced that it was making a comeback in the Indian market under new leadership and a new team. ZebPay is also planning to launch crypto-to-crypto trading, starting with BTC to ETH and stablecoins, as it will now offer no trading. And it will also offer no fee trading on selected pairs. I assume that they're doing the crypto-to-crypto only because of nonsense. The Supreme Court of India heard arguments on both sides in January this month after the ban of cryptocurrencies in India. The Reserve Bank of India clarified that they did not ban cryptocurrencies in the country. Here's the actual, first of all, the announcement from ZebPay about them reopening. Here's the actual article from the 28th of September, 2018. It says, ZebPay, India's largest cryptocurrency exchange, shuts down after RBI's Bitcoin ban. What makes me the most annoyed is that the RBI released information that they knew was incorrect and that they knew did not hold. Remember when I told you before, there was a podcast I was listening to sometime last year, maybe even a year and a half ago at this point, and there was this guy discussing cryptocurrency regulations in his country in Africa, and he said the really weird thing is that at one point, some high up executives from the central bank in his country went on to the news and they were like, yeah, we don't like Bitcoin. Bitcoin should be banned. And he said he started going around trying to open up cryptocurrency businesses and nobody would do it with him. He started going into cafes and restaurants and asking them if they wanted to start accepting Bitcoin, and no one would. Like, people were telling him to get out, to leave. He couldn't figure out what was going on. So he called the government office and he told them, he said, is Bitcoin banned in this country? And they said, no, there's no ban on it. He found out that the news that day that pretty much said that the people from the bank had said that they didn't like Bitcoin and that it should be banned, caused everyone in the country to believe that Bitcoin itself was banned because it was a scam, because apparently news articles were going around. It was going around in the newspapers, on the internet. People were reading these things saying that it could be a scam, and therefore it was, and therefore to have more faith in their own fiat currencies. So what ended up happening was in India is that the RBI came forward talking about that they also didn't like it, that they also thought so and so and so, and therefore the cryptocurrency space would be banned within the country. Multiple cryptocurrency exchanges got destroyed within about a week, 2 weeks within India. They were all completely gone. They all had like sad stories or like sad messages. They were like, we tried our best, but this is kind of what it is. And this all happened with the government knowing that there wasn't an actual ban. So what ended up happening is that people have been opening up multiple lawsuits against the RBI and the government within India to trying to get them to clarify exactly what's going on within the cryptocurrency space. And only last month, a year and a half after they said that there was a ban when there really wasn't a ban, that they come out to say, ban? No, there's no ban, which is crazy because they allowed all these other businesses to close down under the idea that they were doing something illegal within the country when none of them were. That means that multiple companies had to go back to these regulatory agencies and, do some type of process to actually end the entire thing, when the entire time they could have just continued because there wasn't an actual ban. It's terrible. It's terrible what people do to make sure that they remain in power. I'm trying to choose my words lightly, but it's terrible. The entire point being, ZebPay, which was once the largest crypto exchange in India, is going to open back up. I assume, I'm not going to read through the entire thing. Oh, not that much. As to when they're going to do it. So I assume that they're opening up before March. It's insane. Yeah, I have a lot more to say about this, but I will refrain because YouTube. Let's move on. Next up, the Winklevoss are in the news. The owners of the Gemini cryptocurrency exchange, the Winklevoss brothers, have won a flurry of U.S. patents for stablecoin technology they say could be issued by commercial banks. 6 patents awarded between August 2019 and January 2020 to Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss's intellectual property company outline a system similar to the collateralized token model already used by Tether and the brothers' Gemini dollar, GUST, that allows users to directly swap between currency for their digital equivalents. The stablecoin system needs trusted entities charged with generating, exchanging, and destroying the stablecoins, as well as holding the fiat currency collateral on a 1-to-1 ratio with the number of tokens issued. A trusted entity could use the Gemini exchange itself, the patent says, but other types of trusted entities, banks, trusts, may also be able to use, issue, administer, redeem, and or otherwise manage the stablecoins as well. The Gemini twins are trying to become their own bank, if you will. They have patented, here are the 6 right here, systems, so that, and it's, there are a number of reasons. First of all, I told you before, I think the Winklevoss twins are extremely boring from top to bottom. I don't know them. I'll never know them. I don't care what they do with their lives. But within the cryptocurrency space, they're very dry. They're like, they call Triscuits. They're just so incredibly boring. When they first started within the cryptocurrency space, they were for the idea of decentralization and Bitcoin for everyone and all this other stuff. And it's very clear they're rich. They were born rich. They only really care about decentralizing their pockets. That's all. That's as far as they actually go. In a world where things would be better if everything was decentralized, as there was no single point of failure, this would be good for us, everyone else, as well as government, so that they, what have you. We live in a world where people are trying to make stable coins a thing, and what they're pretty much trying to do is make sure that they hold all the patents for anything that could be created by any other person, which means that at some point, if someone else does decide, you, me, anyone else decides to try and do something similar to this in a decentralized manner, they hold the patents for it, and they'll be able to sue the other person to say, well, we actually hold the patent for that, and you can't do that because we're trying to, and then the other person's like, well, I'm trying to make sure that everyone could create their own stablecoin, even if it's just use between them and their friends, that they're trying to exchange value as they're playing video games. No, we hold the patent for that, and we're going to sue you for $25 million. It's gross. At least that's how I feel about it. It's always something with these two. The entire point being, here are the 6 that they have, I guess, been received. Here's the actual information for one of them. And I'll tell you honestly, and it's not because I don't like them or find them boring. I don't think this will actually catch on. What they're trying to do is make a system where banks and institutions have to go to them to be able to issue a coin. I can assure you, if this even lifts off the ground by 20 centimeters, what is that, 10 inches? Somewhere around there? You'd better believe JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and every other major bank, they're all going to swoop in and do something similar to this. They're going to have their own patent in some sort of way, and they're going to tell everyone else to use them to be able to issue their own stablecoins. But kudos to them for trying. That's the Winklevoss news for today. It's insane to see the evolution of people within the space and how you can just blatantly tell that they don't really care for decentralization at all. It has nothing to do with decentralization or making the world a better place. It's making sure that they receive as much money as possible. Like, imagine if all the effort and time that people put into creating these things and trying to make money, if we use that to advocate for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for Litecoin in other countries, to get world leaders to adopt them, to get other people around the world who don't have banking access. Like, it still furthers the system because they own several 100,000. That's not a fake number. They own several 100,000 Bitcoin. Like, you would still be rich off of this, but not off the backs of other people, because stablecoins by institutions and banks are only going to be used to oppress people. We know this. Anyway, before I continue going, let's move. This is a very heated video for me. This is I don't realize how many weird topics I had in this video. We're getting that news again. That apparently the market is, and I'll get into what's going on once again, which also happened yesterday, is now showing bullish signs once again. It says symmetrical triangles or triangulations tend to be a magic pattern for Litecoin. And you'll see it in a couple of places here. The big ascending triangle that blew off in 2017, and you had another triangulation in 2018. You've had different triangulations taking place, especially symmetrical triangles in Litecoin. People are thinking that Litecoin could be moving up relatively soon in price. Peter Brandt, who we've spoken about many other times before, he is a very well-known crypto analyst within the space. It says, as for XRP, Brandt says he often hears from investors who closely follow the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Although Brandt says XRP may prove to be a boomer and rise exponentially in value, he stresses his belief that Bitcoin is a real crypto asset to watch. He said, I know many of you are Ripple fans, XRP fans. I'm sorry, I just can't get all excited about that. I've talked about this in the past with you many times. For me, this is a Bitcoin story. Bitcoin is the legacy coin. I don't want to be sidetracked because I think the granddaddy of them all is going to continue to be Bitcoin. XRP may very well be a boomer, but it's also going to be a buster. So my focus will continue to be on Bitcoin, and I'll look at Bitcoin and the litmus test of everything else. I have an honest question for everyone. And please answer as honestly as possible. Don't use your time in the comment section to simply shut other people down. Not everyone likes Bitcoin. A lot of people do like other cryptocurrencies, whether you are into Bcash, BSV, XRP, LTC, Ethereum Classic, Dash, whatever the coin might be. A lot of people have a lot of faith in a lot of these coins. And I often wonder how much faith exactly people have. I.e., if you found out at some, like, do you plan on holding your altcoins forever, or do you plan on at some point swapping them into Bitcoin? And I mean, answer me completely honestly, because like I told you before, we all have a price of when we plan on selling something. I will tell you my prices. I will probably think of relinquishing some XRP if it gets to between $7 to $12. I think once I see 7, that'll start ringing bells in my head. Once we get to around $9, the alarms will be sounding. And I think even at $10, and that's not to say that I expect or don't expect it to ever go higher than $10. It's more of that's the number in my head that kind of like rings true for when I should maybe start selling some of what I have. Yeah, I always wonder what everyone else's plans are. Like, what is the number you plan on selling? What is the, like, do you plan on holding Bitcoin until it hits 100,000? Do you just simply want to forever hold Bitcoin until it hits 1 million? Are you going to hold your XRP forever? Like, you may be ridiculously in love with your Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's vision, but do you plan on holding it until it tries to hit 20,000? Like, what's the number that everyone has? Because this is just based once again off of the information that we keep seeing around. I don't necessarily agree that this is just a Bitcoin story, but I do believe in 10 to 20 years that the books that will be written will be about Bitcoin's story. On the other hand, I do assume that many other altcoins are also going to rocket, go up, make people tons of money. But at one point, do you plan on cashing out? And then, like, when you cash out, are you then planning on only focusing on Bitcoin? Will you buy back in? I don't know. It's just something that I've thought of multiple times before, as far as like what goes through people's brains when they get into cryptocurrencies. Because at a certain point, everyone has a limit, especially if the next bull run is then going to be followed by another 2-year bear market. Like, what number are you hoping to exit the market? Like, people were selling Bitcoin in 2017 when it was around 12,000. They're like, oh, it can't go any higher. Then it hit 20,000 and people were like, oh, I'm holding for 40. And then we went back down to 10 and people were like, nope, still holding to 40. And I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? I'll always wonder. Anyway, a lot of people nonstop talking about prices are looking like they're going to go up relatively soon. I think it's just a matter of, at this point, simply waiting. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Chongololo Tsongololo, Nostromo, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, the Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Neal, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill, Wheezy, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas, Run Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick, Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Don't Be a Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Manja, Lavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitch Test Every Day, and Cal Skips Leg Day. Yes, to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ArfMedic17, Bake Me a Cake, and Tigara Machonisa. Thank you all very, very much for your support, and thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. At the moment, for those of you who are not looking at the screen, the cryptocurrency market is red. Tether is green, which means that stuff is being sold off. It's not a dramatic drop, but we are still in a similar drop pattern from yesterday. I think Bitcoin hit 9,500 a day or two ago. We are currently at 9,186. Once again, for those of you who are also not looking at the screen, CNBC says, no need to panic. Chinese state media tells investors after markets plunge on coronavirus fears. Markets are still going down because of the virus, because of the fear of the virus. There's also other news that other countries around the world were trying to inject money into their markets to try and stabilize them off of fears of the virus taking place. However, it doesn't seem to be working. And as crypto is also highly speculative, when people are taking their money out of other speculative markets because of fear, cryptocurrencies also get hit by that as well. Some coins are up, like very random coins. Where's the other really big one? Icon is up by 54%, 53%, excuse me. Who knows why, but it is. So is Algor. Raven coin's up by 6, and Algorand is up by 8. Who the heck knows why? However, it is, turn on phone, Tuesday. I assume we'll see by the end of this week if we are around 8,100 or if the market has picked itself back up because people realize that they're being irrational in said moment. I do hope you all enjoyed. Hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do honestly hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.